Hello, everybody. Welcome into this space at this time to this place. So, Libra is processing right now. So, the first one just was like Aries. I was like, okay. So, the second time, Siri was like Capricorn. And then today, Siri was like Libra. And so, after Capricorn, I was like, okay, so like, are we doing a cardinal signs thing right now, or what? What's going on? And then we get Libra, so if we don't do Cancer next, then that was not the pattern. But we're in Cancer season right now. It was interesting. Like, Capricorn's was kind of heavy. Aries was medium heavy. I don't even remember Aries. Aries wasn't necessarily heavy, but I could see it being challenging. Um, Libras was just like, what? Shout out to Miss Remy Healings, Apple Bear, Runeraker. Shout out to Rob, Hang True, Runeraker. Shout out to Russ, Runeraker, Flursa, 12th, Knafa. I think that's it. Upcoming shout out to Cindy, Runeraker. I don't know what hers is, but because I ain't seen it yet. I'm just like, what the freak? I don't know if it's because Neptune is going retrograde or what. But for Libra, it was just like, it was out there. So, I don't know. And I was using the Mystical Dreams Tarot for Libra. And then I found these two cards on the floor that didn't even come out for Libra. Can you see these? Let me see. Let me blow this up. I guess you can. Also, the angle is a little extra wide today, but I guess it is what it is. So I'm looking at these two, and I'm like, this is interesting. So there's an energy of a masculine emerging, a male presenting figure emerging in the space of a waxing moon. Honestly, all these moons look crescent to me. And it's the Seven of Swords. And then on the Four of Swords, there's the same energy of alignments. But whatever this is, it's opening up an alternative path, an alternate route. You see the lightning from the top going down and around the mountain, opening up that secondary sort of cave instead of that main one. Oh, I was like, it feels like something's coming out of that cave now. And it might be this Seven of Swords energy. Also, the sky in these is the same. So what's happening that's up here, oops, okay, let me see. What's happening up here that's causing that alternate path to sort of open is this energy. It is this emergence. Right? Because you can see that the skies are similar. And like you see this like ball circular light thing, and then you see like that one up there as if it were the same thing. But they were just on the floor. I was like, okay, well, I already put these cards away. And I wasn't necessarily going to go live today, but I might as well pull the thing for this weekend, right? So let's see. Four of Swords, Seven of Swords. This is 11 Swords. 11 is a number of awakening because we are, for the first time, both feet in a new dimension. The 10 is like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But with the 11, we're 2 feet, like both feet in. wide open. At the 11, we can probably still turn around and go back if we wanted to. At the very least, we could go back to the 10 where we like put a foot out. And it's almost like it. Hold up. Because there's a person here. This is the parting of the veil. Because there's a person here that also receives. I don't know if the person is like triggering this event, leading to this emergence, and then this alternate path, or if this person is also receiving at the same time as this alternate path is being opened. But this fire, or the cup with the fire in it, reminds me of the blue flame of truth from the Lord of Pentacles card that comes out like every time I use it. Well, when I first got the deck, it came out every time I used the deck. It just came out as one of the last two cards for the, like, as I was concluding the Libra reading, and it's right there. The Lord of Pentacles with the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, Four of Swords, Seven of Swords. So that moves us from an 11 of Swords to a 13 of Swords, with this Lord of Pentacles energy being the space of parting the veil. So this is being triggered by somebody, or a collective of somebody's. And what it's doing is, it's like there are these energies that are out navigating. That, it's giving me, it's Midgard Sormir? I feel like it's Jormungandr. But let me see, Midgard Sormir. Is this an actual thing? Colossal serpentine dragon large enough to entwine the Garlean dreadnought arc. Okay, no. Price Vulgar. So it might just be Jormungandr. Yeah, so Jormungandr is Midgard Sormir. Got you. So Jormungandr encloses Midgard sort of within him. He wraps all the way around it, right? So this is giving me Jormungandr energy. This is Midgard that Jormungandr encloses. Something is trying to land here. It's like, first of all, this plane is trying to find Midgard, navigating, sailing through the Idrissilian seas or whatever. And then it's trying to land. That is what this energy holds the gateway open to. It's like when this energy is aligned and when the veil is parted, it puts that full moon in the sky to help whoever is in that airplane navigate safely to their destination, which is here. I don't know the 9 realms. The limit of that, of my knowledge, is mostly God of War. But there is another realm in a bubble off to the side. And because of that castle, it's making me think of the highest one, where the light elves live, I think. So I don't know if it's coming from there. Oh my gosh, what? As many times as I've looked at this card, I've never noticed. Okay, we're gonna get real close. Real up close and personal. You see that? Jormungandr has the plane. It may be a crash landing. That person might have to parachute in. Hit the ground wherever and just pick it up. Pick up and keep moving. Oh, that's the Lovers. I was like, what the? Midgard Sormir. and Jormungandr are the same. In Norse mythology, Jormungandr, in Old Norse Jormungandr, pronounced Jormungandr, meaning huge monster, also known as the Midgard serpent or world serpent, Old Norse Midgardsormr. It's a sea serpent, the middle child of Loki and the giantess Ag- Angrboda. I don't know how to pronounce that. According to the Prose Edda, Odin took Loki's three children, the wolf Fenrir, Hel, and Jormungandr. Hel was a child of Loki? What? I didn't know that. So his children would have been like, what, 3/4 giant? And a quarter god? Is Loki half god, half giant? Or is he just a complete giant that was taken in by Odin? Let's see. Doesn't matter. Maybe not. Let's see. It's a god in Norse mythology, the son of a Jotun and a goddess. Okay, yeah, so he is half god and half goddess. Married to Sigyn, they have a son. Alright, who was this? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Temperance, the moon, and the Lord of Wands. And the Lord of Wands is the one who sort of like built that airplane. And that scythe keeps popping up. I still don't know what it means. I feel like there are sometimes I get like synchronicities and I'm just like, I don't know what this means. And I just keep going rather than like digging into it. The bottom of the deck is the Lovers. This feels like forbidden love, which could be what Loki resulted from. Right? A giant with a goddess? Like, what? It's a little Nephilim in that way. What is the thing today? Where did I just put that? I feel like I just grabbed it. Oh, here it is. So for the weekend of the 26th to the 27th, it is easier to separate the yolk from the white if the egg is cold. It is easier to separate the yolk from the white. Oh, what? It does it without flipping. Excuse me, when did that happen? I feel like this camera sometimes it just decides to flip. It's easier to separate the yolk from the white if the egg is cold. Egg is in bold. And then there are these lovers where they're not completely embracing. The egg white is the water. The yolk is the fire. That makes sense. It's easier to separate the egg from the white if the yolk is cold. To me, I read that as like being cold-hearted, right? The fire is the truth of who we are. The water is who we choose to be. And when our heart is cold, it's easier to separate who we are from who we really are, us from our truth. Cold also, it's a damping frequency. It slows things down. And again, it makes sense. If they're moving slower, then they would be easier to separate. When it picks up in frequency, frequency is the distance between two peaks or two sort of troughs in a wave, right? So if it increases in frequency, it gets really short, and it's more difficult to observe the entirety of the wave or to observe what happens within one wave cycle if you get a lot of them in a little time. it's almost like it moves faster than our ability to observe. And if we can't observe it, then we can't separate it. But with the scythe here, it feels like there is something that needs to be cut out. And so we're slowing down. Slowing down so we can see what needs to be cut out. Because when we're distracted, when we're going full force, when we're busy, we miss it. It's almost like there are so many things happening at once that it's really difficult to pinpoint which stimulus is making us react in the way that we're reacting. And so maybe in the past, when everything was really busy, there were a lot of things that we would sort of like cut out and remedy and heal and do, which would have some effect, but it wouldn't give us the desired effect. It's like, if you have an experiment, you want to change a limited number of variables at one time. You don't want to change everything at once, because then you're not going to know which variable is responsible for producing that change. And that's when you get into a design of experiments, right? And then you can either go like high and low, plus and minus. You set up, I forget the name of the chart, but it's just the DOE chart, where you test all the variables at low, you test them all at high in different sort of combinations, so you can isolate the effects of the variables. Then you can determine which variables have the most significant impact on the reaction. And once you know which ones are significant, you can either maximize or minimize, depending on what you want, the process. But it's really difficult to maximize and minimize when everything is moving and changing and happening at once. Which is why this temperance card is looking at the moon instead of at the sun. Where's the dream protector? Because this is an energy, it's a home that's like, it's not grounded because it's so, it's in the middle of the ocean, so, But the dream protector holds back the waves, would slow this down enough so that we can handle, address, see, heal, whatever we need. The dream protector is the Emperor, by the way. So the dream protector is coming out with the Ace of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. Both of them heavily tied to the element of water. You see, he's holding back the water so that the house can settle. Or how I want to do this. I don't want to do it like this. The Ace of Wands is giving me the birth of Venus energy. Oh, that's interesting, because Temperance is sitting here with like this paddle and a sack or an urn, I don't know. But there's no water here. All of the water is here. And if the egg was frozen, then you can probably just carve out the yolk and separate it, right? Because then it would thicken, it would be stiffer. It would congeal. And it's almost like, well, once you thaw it, it's going to be a liquid again, so it doesn't really matter either way. There's a frog and a black cat on the Six of Pentacles, which is giving me an energy of magic today. But like a playful magic, a lighthearted magic. It's like being a child again where everything is like magical and wonderful and spectacular, right? It's a sense of childlike wonder. This Ace of Wands with the dove emerging from the lotus. That's what this is. It's that like no mud, no lotus energy. But it's the Ace of Wands because it is this childlike wonder. It's this childlike lens. It makes you excited to get out into the world again and to experience all of what it could be without all of this like dryness. And you know that there has to be some water here because the flowers are in bloom and flowers need water. But it feels like she's standing in the middle of a dried up well, maybe a dried up pond. And maybe that's a shovel that she's trying to dig it up. She's trying to dig up the water. So this is an energy of a drought. There was water here, which is what made all the flowers bloom. But maybe a river dried up somewhere and she's going to have to irrigate new land. That's why the Lord of Wands sends out that airplane. Because they're searching for the water. Now the scythe is here because it's like to irrigate this plot, there's going to have to be some flowers that are sacrificed, right? That's everything that she dug up. There's a piece that's sacrificed, but you're still overly abundant. So it's not that. It's like you have less, but you're not missing out on anything because you already had more than you could have done with. And you still have more that you can do with. And so while it did require the sacrifice of these, maybe the lovers defiled that land. Oh, look, and then the Dreamer of Wands with the dove is behind here. And then here's like the Six of Swords energy where he playing a chess game trying to win, trying to get wherever. He's got his own sort of stuff that he's going through as he's emerging with that Seven of Swords. I don't know. Because maybe like something about this, it's like it killed the grass here. Maybe because it wasn't like a full embrace. Maybe it was. I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, sex is something that's only meant for two people who love each other. And to do it without that connection is blah, 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 whatever. But it's like an action of love performed on an unfertile ground. And because the ground wasn't able to take seed, or because the ground wasn't able to be seeded, nothing grew there. This is a Venusian energy. So pick your favorite goddess associated. Okay, well, it's Venusian, even though Venus isn't necessarily associated with love. But pick your favorite goddess or god, I guess, associated with love and abundance and fertility. Because it feels like whoever this woman is, like maybe she thought that she wasn't fertile, but it's his body that's on the ground. So whatever infertility that is here, it's because of him. But because she thinks that the problem exists within her, she goes out seeking. She comes upon that bird associated with this goddess of love, fertility, whatever, and she finds this fish of wisdom. Again, we're by the water. That could be a lack of emotions or a more shallow emotional connection in this space that didn't allow for things to grow. Because maybe you planted a lot of seeds, but the seeds didn't have the water that they needed to like sprout or for the roots to sort of take in to support the plant. This feels like it's a masculine energy, could be within the same person. It's playing this game trying to get to its own space of internal power, right? It almost feels like that's like a piece of this dude's soul that he's playing this game trying to reclaim, trying to find. While she is now going even deeper within emotionally. This, it was the Eight of Cups and the Five of Cups, I think, that spoke of what feminine energy needed to do to make herself whole. When I did that one, when the cards were all coming out, it was the 308 video. Wherever you see 308, this came out as her journey to make herself whole. Right? So now she's gone full deep into whatever that fish told her she needed to go into. With the Eight of Swords, Eight of Cups, Eight of Swords right behind it. This Eight of Swords, it's like Eight of Swords. Look at this 888. So it was the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. There's something that lies deep within her that's been unacknowledged or ignored. And it's her journey to find and connect to that thing. And as she connects to that thing, it's like it powers her external world and reality. Again, we see that fire, the flame of truth. Behind this is the Ouroboros. These are cycles, and it's like what? Divine Feminine Rising with Empress of Duality, Untitled Tarot yesterday. It's that like everything that we've sort of conditioned in a more Western society especially, feminine energy to be. Everything that we sort of say is feminine. Everything that, historically has been decided for women. It's like it's time to find out. It's like it's time to find out who you were before all of that, but at the same time, it's like it's time to discover who you are. To no longer abide by those things. Because it's not necessarily inherently conducive to this. And that energy doesn't serve masculine energies either. It doesn't serve men either, any more than it serves women. Men benefit from it though. So don't let me tell you that men don't benefit from it. But emotionally, developmentally, spiritually, morally, ethically, it doesn't serve men any more than it serves women. They walk around with the same sort of internal disconnect. But physically, they sort of are on the physical plane. Observably, they sort of benefit more because of the freedoms and the privileges that they have, right? But for some, those two can be a prison. Is this the Lord? Is it the Lord of Pentacles or the Lord of the Lady of Swords? It's either the Lord of Swords or the Lady of Swords. I think it's the Lady. It's the Ten of Pentacles. Wait. It wasn't either one of them. So we have the Ouroboros and the Ten of Pentacles. 10 and 10 is 20, which is a judgment energy. That's the Five of Wands. Okay, so we've gone too far. 10 and 10 is 20, which is a judgment. 8, 8, and 8 is 24, which could be 2 steps beyond or 3 steps beyond the world. 24 also being the space of justice and the Emperor. 20 is justice, 4 is the Emperor. Or strengthen the Emperor. But it's feeling more like justice in the Emperor, which is this energy that this dude is in, trying to navigate back to the truth of who he is. And it's like he's already got a crown. But now he has to come back and play this game. Which is why he's in a space of emerging from that Seven of Swords, right? That came out earlier. Oh, here's another 6. 6 and 6 is 12, which is a 3. And that's a catalyst. A catalyst is something that inspires change in something else, but it in and of itself is not changed. And more often than not, it does that by facilitating. It's like when you lock 2 people in a room and you don't let them out until they get along. That's basically what a catalyst does. You take your one thing and you take your other thing and it pushes them together until they combine in the way that they're supposed to, and then it releases them. And then it waits for 2 other things and it puts them together, right? That's how catalysts work. It's the lock and key sort of model. But the thing about the catalyst is it is changed. Every time something binds to a catalyst, it changes ever so slightly. And it's the final product that gets the catalyst to open and release it. And then the catalyst waits for 2 more things to come in. It changes configuration. It locks them together. And then when they're done, it releases. And so this is an incomplete match here on either side. It's not complete, which is why this thing never got catalyzed. It's not catalyzed because this dude is still over here figuring out, I guess, what he wants, or he's still connecting to the truth of who he is. So this code thing is interesting. It feels like the code led to a separation, but it feels like the code is also going to lead to us being able to separate. It's another separation, but one of them is more internal, so that we can sort of alchemize what we need to within us. So we can allow for what needs to be transformed so we can take flight, right? It's like Lord Ganesha is offering you this airplane that can overcome any obstacle, but there's something that you have to sacrifice to take it. Apple bearer. A little bit. Miss Remy Healing's Runeraker, apple bearer. There's something that you have to sacrifice to freely sort of traverse the 9 realms. And I guess that's what Russ said he was looking for. He felt that the fruit of the tree in apple bearer would give the power to traverse the 9 realms. Maybe I gotta read the comment again. And it's like it does. But there's something about this serpent down here. Maybe this serpent is a caster of illusions. Or maybe this serpent is the seer. in this story here. It's like the serpent slows things down so that Lord Ganesha knows exactly what needs to be sacrificed in order to move forward. But this is Lord Ganesha helping us, right? So the seer slows things down. That's why temperance is here. Because if things were too fast, it would be like it would be a messy surgery. It would be like that's when complications arise from surgery because somebody cut something that they're not supposed to or something like that. So the energy of temperance is coming in and slowing things down so that we can see what it is that we need to sacrifice in order to move forward more freely. Things that we may not have even been seeing or noticing before because maybe we were already used to a life at sea. And so it's like, we want stability, but how do you know that you found stability when you've never been stable? What does stability feel like? What does stability look like? Is it better than what you had? Yeah, but is it still stable? Maybe not. It can be more stable. And so now we get the Dream Protector coming in, holding the water at bay. You see he's creating this space of land behind him so that, you can put your house down and it won't wash away. And this is coming out with the Ace of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. Now, the Six of Pentacles is giving that, like, healing the inner child energy. It's also, like, healing the inner child is coming out with the Frog. Mending and integrating the shadow is coming out with the Black Cat. Leading her to a space of wholeness within self. We've already talked about how she, like, because of everything that is forced upon her, how she doesn't really, it's not about her. It's always about someone else. Like, her life isn't even her life. Her life is like her husband's life or her children's life or something like that. You know what I mean? Wasn't, but her life is her own. And maybe this is just her discovering her inner goddess. And it's her discovering her inner goddess in what she allows for herself. Like, this Ace of Wands feels like self-love. And it's interesting that it's a Wands energy and not water. But the only, like, how I interpret that is that it's a level of emotional healing and stability, and it's a foundation so solid that it puts her in a position to be able to go and to explore wildly without fear and limitation and worry about what if this goes wrong and what if that goes wrong. So there's like emotional, spiritual stability foundation that was very difficult to sort of get established under the moon. It's putting her in a position to, like, finally explore her passions, or for her to discover more of what she is and who she is and what she wants and what she likes and what she doesn't want and doesn't like. It's like, her kids are grown, she's retired, she has the funds. Now she enters a phase of her life where she gets to discover herself. And even if her kids aren't grown, even if she's still working, she can still discover herself. But sometimes, obligations and responsibilities can make us feel like we don't have the opportunity to do for ourselves. And we very much so need to. Because now it feels like what's being removed here is creating space for something new. Here. Which is why you want things to go a little slower. Because, again, like, you don't want to accidentally remove something that you need. And you also don't want to insert something somewhere that directly conflicts with other things in its immediate vicinity. Because then it's not going to be maintainable. So separation isn't always bad. Cold isn't always bad. It feels like maybe there was a time where it didn't work for you, but now you can work it to your advantage. Check out Miss Remy Healing's Runeraker Apple Bearer. I feel like that. I feel like that energy is here. I love these rune videos because, like I was saying yesterday, it's like when you have something that you can tie an association to, like an energy, an experience, whatever, then it allows you to flesh out that experience even more. It's like now you have a vocabulary, you have words to express the things that you're feeling, and so you can be a lot more expressive. I don't know. All right, well, this is what I got. I hope you have a good whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And all the best in whatever this is.